have 3 endowment funds at Olivet, so if one of you or both of you could share kind of what prompted you to start. First of all, let's start with the Maggie Sloan Crawford Award. What kind of was the prompt that started it, or the motivation?
Surprisingly enough, it wasn't until after my mother had died that I learned she was a graduate from Olivet.
Really? You didn't know?
Can you believe that?
You didn't know until today?
I didn't know that.
Oh my goodness.
I can hardly believe it now.
That is amazing.
But we found, after she had died, we found among the things that she had treasured and left, we found her graduation speech that she had, it was handwritten, about 6 or 8 pages of a graduation speech that she had given. I made copies of that, and I think it's in the archives at Olivet now.
I think so.
And but anyway, we discovered some of these things. Her picture holding her graduation diploma, and so I talked to. I'm not sure whether it's Norman Moore or who it was, but I talked to someone at Olivet and asked them if they had any records or that thing, and we began to talk about it. And finally, Olivet did some research on it and came to the conclusion that because Olivet was new and had such a small group of students when it was started, that she was probably actually the only graduate in the class of 1910. She had been in school at a school in Iowa called Oskaloosa Holiness University, or college, or and the president of that school, Dr. Hills, was called to come to Olivet to start the new school, Olivet. And he persuaded my mother to come and finish her schoolwork. She was also the matron of the girls' dormitory. She also taught mathematics to some high school students, because in their early formative years, the school had not only college, but they had some high school students. And my mother at that time was 29 years old, so she was old for a student.
Oh, so she wasn't just 19, 20 years old. Okay, I never realized that.
She and my father were married when she was 30 years old. And so anyway, we discovered that she was was probably the one and only graduate in that class of 1910. And so my 3 brothers and I will admit to being the one that got them together and said, why don't we do this?
Okay, kind of led the charge.
Why don't we set up a program to honor our mother, because while she was alive, she, how shall I say, she didn't get many earthly rewards. And anyway, the 3 brothers and I set up the program.
At that time, and wanted to do something to honor her memory then.
That's correct.
And that's why it's related around a female.
That's right.
And a woman who's of character. Who may not necessarily have even received recognition, just like your mom didn't receive that kind of special thing. So, great. How about the James Crawford Scholarship for ministerial students?
Well, my oldest brother, Milton, he said if we're going to do something to honor our mother, we ought to do something to honor our dad.
Oh, okay.
And so he is the one who originated the idea that we should also do something to set up a scholarship fund for children of Nazarene ministers, missionaries, others who are active Christian workers in the Nazarene Church.
In full-time services,
Right.
Because some of them don't make a lot of income, do they?
Yes, they don't. And I remember how hard it was financially for our dad. And two of the four boys managed to get through college, but the first two, primarily because of financial restrictions, were not able to go to school, college.
And, great thing to do, because we still have kids coming out of pastors' homes that are in situations similar to yours as far as that income. Commend you for that. And then the third one, the International Student Scholarship.
It might have been in Dr. Bowling's first year as president. I don't remember just when it was.
Okay.
But I remember well, he and I, we were in at Olivet for one of the Maggie Sloan Crawford Award programs, and Dr. Bowling and I were having dinner together, just the two of us, and we were talking, and I asked him if the school had any kind of scholarship program to attract international students to the school and help them. And we talked about the need and the benefits, and out of that conversation, that program developed.
Well, we can sure see from the university side the benefits of having students from different cultures be on campus. I can testify to that. They share something. They have different perspectives and views of the world than our regular students do. We happen to right now be kind of mentors to one of those young men from the Philippines.
Oh.
And so we enjoy it, and he calls my wife Auntie Diane. He doesn't call me uncle, but he always calls her Auntie Diane. And
nice.
We communicate with him. He was so thrilled this year to see snow for the first time. He might have gotten over that thrill and kind of wish he hadn't seen some of it now.
Yes.
But we appreciate that.
Well, it's been interesting for us on 2 or 3 occasions when we've been back on campus. You've arranged to have a dinner for the students who are there on the International Scholarship Program, and for us to get an opportunity to meet those students and hear their stories. That's been very interesting for us.
And it's remarkable, the backgrounds, isn't it?
Yes,
They're
it
so
is.
varied, so varied. Yeah. Well, looking back from this vantage point, what kind of impact would you say that Olivet had on your lives? How did the Olivet impact you? Can you think of any ways?
Well, I'm sure it did. It had to have a great impact, and all for the good. But I don't know. We just always gone to church and try to do as well as we could for everybody that we could. So.
Spiritual values still a high priority.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Cecil?
The motto of the school, education with a Christian purpose, is so much more than just words. And I remember the chapel programs and the revivals on campus, and the examples of some of the professors that we were closer to. It's impossible to measure
That impact.
fully the impact of all of those factors put together. And I think the Christian home that we came from, the Christian the education that we got at a Christian college. I think my life would have been totally different if I had ended up playing basketball at Oklahoma A&M University, which was my ambition when I was a kid. That was what I would have liked to have done better than anything else, probably. But
so you don't regret transferring to Olivet?
Oh, never. No, it was God's hand, and my mother's and dad's prayers being answered that got me there. I'm sure of that.
Yeah. I wonder if they talked to the president behind the doors before you got there.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I can imagine a mother doing that, can't you?
Yeah, I surely can.
Well, last question for you. Is there a message that you would like to give to this generation of Olivetians? We have about 4,000 students at Olivet this year. Any message you'd want to pass on to them that you can think of?
Well, just be sure that the children have a good start and are Christians. And I remember when we made that move from Kankakee and into the big world, so we had 2 cars. Cecil and Marcia were driving out of the drive in our nice home there that he had built, and Greg and I were on the next car following, and I was driving out the last time. I knew it would be the last time we'd ever be there, and I started crying. And Greg reached over and said, "Don't cry, Mother. I'll pray that God will help us and give us a better place, a nice place again."
And he did, didn't he?
And he did. And so he was a Christian already then. And it's such a comfort to know that they're both Christians and their families are.
That's right.
I guess I would say to the students that along with your education in all of the technical details that go in today's education, regardless of what field it may be in, a relationship with God is the most important thing in your life and will be, and the older you get, the more you'll come to recognize that no matter how successful you are in whatever field of endeavor you're in, if you don't have that relationship with your Maker, the rest of it will become hollow.
Won't have much meaning.
Won't have much meaning.
And after you're gone, the businesses you started won't mean nearly as much as the children you had, will they?
They surely won't.
And even now they don't, do they?
No.
No comparison, is there? And,
a relationship with God, a good relationship with your spouse,
yeah.
And building good relationship with your children when they're young, those things last forever.
Keeping a clear conscience and good, so you can feel good. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for the interview.